Amber Heard's ex, Elon Musk, really an enemy of the state at this point? Have FBI spies actually infiltrated Twitter to sabotage him? Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the news and pop culture stories of the day that's pretty much got me eye. And oh my goodness, have FBI spies actually infiltrated Twitter to sabotage Elon Musk? I think, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, it's a very legitimate question, especially after what's happened in the last 24 hours, all regarding, yes, the Twitter files that were dropped last week. Now, before I jump into all of that mess, a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, YouTube human reviewer, I see you lurking. I'm not going to say any trigger words or anything that's going to offend your ear holes. And to everyone else awesome enough to have clicked on this video, hi, welcome, how are you doing? If you love news and pop culture on the daily, served with a little bit of sass and gobbiness, which is basically this, right? Do make sure you click on that subscribe button, like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracies, theories, whatever's. Also, as well, for your consideration, you can always send me a super thanks, which is just below this video right here. And let's jump into this, shall we? Now, let's go back right to the beginning of this all, because some of you may not be aware of what the Twitter files that were dropped last week are all about. And it's not your fault, really, because really, apart from, believe it or not, Fox News, mainstream media are not really reporting on it much. They're downplaying it, some are outright ignoring it. So let me bring you up to speed a little bit about it. So Elon Musk, he came through with his promise of releasing some proper bombshell revelations about what Twitter's been doing before he took over, specifically to suppress the Hunter Biden story in the final weeks of the 2020 presidential election. So what he did was he got the findings and he sent it to a Substack journalist called Matt Taibbi. Hopefully I pronounced that right, who published pretty much a lengthy thread about what had happened really behind the scenes at Twitter. And if you've not read it, seriously, go onto Matt's Twitter, read it through. It's insane. So Taibbi wrote, some of the first tools for controlling speech were designed to combat the likes of spam and financial fraudsters. Fair play, right? But slowly over time, Twitter staff and executives began to find more and more uses for these tools. Outsiders began petitioning the company to manipulate speech as well. First a little, then more often, then constantly. So it was basically just all going fastly downhill. By 2020, requests from connected actors to deleted tweets were routine. One executive would write to another, more to review from the Biden team, and the reply would come back handled. So really, whatever the Biden team asked of Twitter, Twitter did. Yeah. So Taibbi shared a screenshot of that particular October 2020 exchange featuring links to tweets Biden's team allegedly wanted taken down. Now, many of them were to tweets featuring X to the X to the X images of Hunter found on his laptop, according to Washington Free Beacon investigative reporter Andrew. Yeah. So this is tweet number 8 in that particular thread of the Twitter files that Matt was releasing. And here you go. 2020 requests to delete tweets were routine. More to review from the Biden team, one would say, and the reply would come back handled. You see there? More to review, handled. And these are the links to all those Twitter posts that were then deleted, presumably. Now, Taibbi wrote that both parties had access to these tools. For instance, in 2020, requests from both the Trump White House and the Biden campaign were received and honoured. However, the system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts. It was basically of It is who you know, not what you know, right? And we're going to get into the point next very quickly of, did the FBI spies infiltrate Twitter? Because this is all connected. So stay with me on this, okay? So because Twitter was and is overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation, there were more channels, more ways to complain open to the left, well, the Democrats, rather than the right. So, you know, it wasn't balanced, okay? The Democrats had a bigger kind of advantage over the Republicans because there were more people in Twitter that leaned towards the Democrats rather than Republicans. Republicans didn't stand a chance, really, with this. The result in slanting content moderation decisions is visible in the documents you're about to read. However, it's also the assessment of multiple current and former high-level executives. So, Tybee tweeted, there's no evidence that I've seen that the federal government had a role in suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story, but that the decision was made at the highest levels of the company without the knowledge of CEO Jack Dorsey, with former head of legal policy and trust, Vijaya Gade, playing a key role. And again, hopefully I've pronounced her name correctly. So here, he says, they just freelanced it, is how one former employee characterized the decision. Hacking was the excuse, but within a few hours, pretty much everyone realized that wasn't going to hold, but no one had the guts to reverse it. Now, Twitter's former deputy general counsel, and we're getting onto this now, remember this name, Jim Baker, replied, I support the conclusion that we need more facts to assess whether the materials were hacked, but added, it's reasonable for us to assume that they may have been and that caution is warranted. So, in other words, we don't have any exact proof that's a definite that it was hacked. But you know what? We can say reasonably, potentially they were hacked. So, yeah, delete, suppress, 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 suppress. Now, who is Jim Baker? Well, he was the Deputy General Counsel of Twitter, but he's recently been fired. And he was the former FBI General Counsel. So, where does he fit into all of this, and why was he fired? Well, on Friday, the first installment last Friday of the Twitter files was published here. We expected to publish more over the weekend, and many wondered why there was a delay, Tybee tweeted. Now, this is why there's a delay for part 2 of the Twitter files being released. He says, we can now tell you part of the reason why. On Tuesday, Twitter Deputy General Counsel and former FBI General Counsel Jim Baker was fired. Among the reasons, vetting the first batch of Twitter files without knowledge of new management. Elon Musk, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, to my knowledge, in terms of what he's been saying on Twitter was, there's going to be full transparency. I'm going to show you absolutely everything that's been going on behind the scenes of Twitter before I took over, because what's been going on is going to be shocking to everyone, right? And then you've got this Jim Baker dude, right? And yeah, dude be like, yeah, let me just review what's going to come out and vet them and make sure certain things don't get released and other things do. Presumably that's what he was doing anyway. But oh my goodness, former FBI General Counsel. Could it be a possibility that when Elon Musk took over, and it's only a possibility, I'm not saying it's true or whatever, that the FBI went on over to this Jim Baker and was like, okay, so Elon Musk is threatening to release what's been going on behind the scenes. We know what's been going on behind the scenes, especially with the current president and his son, this, that, and the other. Can you do us a solid and try and protect as much as possible? And then Jim Baker, in that potential possibility, turns from just normal, everyday, maybe Twitter employee to FBI spy that's infiltrated Twitter to sabotage Elon Musk's kind of aim to make Twitter not only more accessible, but more transparent to the people. Right? It is a possibility. So, once this was found out, dude got fired. Now, Taibbi explained the process for producing the Twitter files involved delivery to two journalists, Barry Weiss and me, via a lawyer close to new management. However, after the initial batch, things became complicated. Over the weekend, while we both dealt with obstacles to new searches, it was Barry Weiss who discovered that the person in charge of releasing the files was someone named Jim. When she called to ask Jim's last name, the answer came back, Jim Baker. And then my jaw hit the floor. Now, Baker is a controversial figure. He's been something of a zealot of FBI controversies dating back to 2016, from the Steele dossier to the Alpha server mess. He did resign in 2018 after an investigation into leaks to the press, and that the news that Baker was reviewing the Twitter files surprised everyone involved, to say the least. A new Twitter chief, Elon Musk, acted quickly to exit Baker on Tuesday. This is what Taibbi told everyone. Now, the revelation that Jim Baker was fired, Twitter went nuts over, praising Musk for his leadership and condemnation for Baker's career history. And yeah, kudos to Elon for doing this, right? So you've got Australian commentator Rita Panahi tweeting a summary of the shake-up, saying Baker is the former FBI general counsel who was knee-deep in the Russian collusion hoax and instrumental in suppressing New York Post bombshell stories on contents of the Hunter Biden's laptop. Editor-in-chief, The Federalist, Molly Hemingway, tweeted, James Baker implicated in the Russia collusion hoax that so damaged the country, now gone from Twitter. Senator Josh Hawley proposed that while Baker may have been fired from Twitter, he's welcome to testify, though, before lawmakers, saying Republicans should call Baker, former FBI lawyer before he went to Twitter, to testify on possible FBI attempts to coerce Twitter into election interference. Again, it goes back to kind of like my main question out of this all. Did ultimately FBI spies infiltrate Twitter to sabotage Elon Musk once he took over? But even before then, to sabotage maybe the country itself? I mean, here we're talking about, potential election interference. Here's an allegation of that. Now, it may be true, it may not be true. We don't know. But it stinks to high heaven, this Jim Baker dude, that's for sure. Here's Elon Musk's official tweet here. In light of concerns about Baker's possible role in suppression of information important to the public dialogue, he was exited from Twitter today. Representative James Comer made a similar proposal. Elon Musk, can you make sure to forward our email inviting James Baker to a GOP oversight hearing next year? We sent it to his Twitter email. Some users noted that this was part of a larger trend of Musk removing the old guard from Twitter leadership. PJ Media columnist Ryan Ledendecker wrote, now that's leadership, baby. Boom. And commentator Ian Miles Cheong, hopefully I've pronounced that right, apologies if I haven't, tweeted, cleaning house, there should be no space for those who would seek to undermine Twitter's role in the dissemination of truth over establishment narratives. And that's a really, really good kind of way to summarize it all. Did FBI spies infiltrate Twitter to undermine and completely sabotage Elon Musk's aim to present the actual truth of what's been going on before he came to Twitter, and to push through and break the establishment narratives that, quite clearly, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, has been completely like the main narrative on Twitter up to before Elon Musk came. This is insane that this could even be a possibility. Right? Do you guys see where I'm coming from? Am I off base? Or do I have a tinfoil hat on? Am I completely like gone cuckoo crazy conspiracy theorist wacko job? Like, please let me know in the comments down below, because it's time for my gob to end and it's time for your gobs to begin. Like I said, in the comments down below, what do you think to all of this? And if you loved this video and you want more news and pop culture on the daily, served with a little bit of sass and gobbiness, which is basically this, right? Do make sure you click on that subscribe button, help us get to 50k, like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracies, theories, whatever's. Also as well, if you really appreciated this video, you can always consider sending me a super thanks, which is just below this video right here. And until the next time, you guys. Laters.